Well, hello again, and welcome to another episode of Crimes Notes. This is the notes over distribute, simplify, and evaluate. So, the first thing that you want to do is these three questions. As usual, they are review. So, you'll read the question up here, and then you will answer whatever it asked you to do here in those boxes. And that's not anything that you need my help with because that is old information. Okay, so for our purposes, the first thing that we're going to do is those second boxes where it says how to use properties of algebra to simplify expressions. So the first thing we're going to do is talk about how to use the distributive property, the commutative property, and the associative property. So the distributive property, this one is used to remove, a new pen and it's not working, hold on. There we go. To remove parentheses from expressions so that you can combine like terms. And that should be pretty easy to remember considering that that is kind of what we have been using as our telltale sign for distributive, that there's only one set of parentheses because we multiplied and got rid of them. So again, distributive is used to remove parentheses from expressions so you can combine like terms. The commutative property is used to change the order of numbers. So like terms are together in an expression. And again, changing the order is what we should remember about the commutative property anyways. And then the last thing is associative, and associative is always going to be talking about grouping. So it is used to group like terms so that you can simplify expressions. So again, distributive removes the parentheses, commutative changes the order, and the associative is how we group our like terms. So how do we know when to distribute? Well, if you remember, we said that side by side means to multiply. So if we have, a number directly beside a parenthesis. That's how you know that you're going to distribute. So again, it's kind of the same thing as saying side by side means multiplied. So if you have a number side by side with parentheses, you're going to multiply. And then when do you combine like terms? Notice I didn't still use commutative and associative. Commutative and associative is how we combine like terms. So when do you combine like terms? When the grouping symbols have been removed. Okay? So, and again, grouping symbols could be brackets, parentheses, whatever it is that told you that you needed to actually group things together. Okay? So, when we're looking at this, and I guess I need to go ahead and fold my paper. So that you guys can see. I've got a few examples down here to kind of go over with you. So the very first one, we need to decide, are we going to combine like terms? Are we going to distribute? Well, remember, our telltale sign for distributing is that we have parentheses right next to a number. So we automatically know side by side means multiplied, so we are going to distribute on this problem. And then in order to distribute, remember our distributive property says we're going to take the number outside the parentheses and multiply it by everything inside. So I'm going to do 3 times n, and then 3 times -4. So a couple of hints or things that we need to remember. First of all, n, there's not a number there. So we would say if there is not or isn't a coefficient, meaning a number in front of the variable, the coefficient is 1. So here in front of this n, there is an imaginary 1 that's sitting right there. And then the second hint is make sure that you watch your signs. So watch signs. This is a big deal. So 3 times 1 is 3, and then I have an n. So we would say this is 3n. And then this is 3 times -4. So if I do 3 times -4, I would get -12. So that's what it would look like if I distribute it. Good. And then we know we're done because this has an n and this doesn't, so there are no like terms to go together. So here's our second example. Are we going to combine like terms or are we going to distribute? Well, if you look carefully, we don't have any parentheses, so that tells us automatically that we're just going to combine like terms. So this time, this is where we can use our colors. So I'm going to do the X's in pink. And again, remember, I include the signs when I put them together. And then for the fun of it, I'm going to use purple for my Y's. So this, -3y. And then lastly, I have my +2. So I've got 3 colors, which means I should have 3 groups. So I have my pink group, which is 7x, and then +4x. Then I would have my purple group and my green group. So 7 plus 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I would get 11x. And then this doesn't have anything, so I just put -3y. And then this doesn't have anything, so I would just put a +2 at the end. Good. So that is how you would decide whether you're going to combine like terms or whether you're going to distribute. So I've left these 2 problems for you to do, practice 3 and practice 4. Once you think you've got it down on when to combine like terms and when to distribute, we're going to put it all together and then you can start the next video.